My work extends over a period of 25 years. I've been a college professor all that time, working at 3 different universities. The specific research work I do and the work that was recognized in this award is my work in biometrics, which has occupied my time since 2001. And over those years, I've come to really enjoy the challenging technical problems, but most of all to work with wonderful people who start maybe not knowing much about an area, but really at the end appreciating it, understanding how their contributions fit into the larger research area, helping them identify what part of the field they can help propel. That's really the most enjoyable part of leading a research team, is helping the individual members each push part of the field forward. The research that's recognized in this award is a series of projects that began in 2001 when I moved to the University of Notre Dame and had the opportunity to work with another colleague in the biometrics area. It depends to a large extent on my past work in computer vision, which goes all the way back to my graduate school days. The specific topics we've looked at over the years are face recognition, iris recognition, merging multiple biometrics to help make joint decisions, looking at scaling behavior, personal recognition systems, and helping contextualize recognition by identifying scenarios and collecting data that supports those scenarios. To a large extent, as cited in the award, my contribution is partly the assembly of a large database of biometric samples. We have one of the largest, if not the largest, data set of multiple biometric modalities available to researchers in the US and abroad. The challenges associated with work in the biometrics field are helping to identify what's next. So to some extent, the field has demonstrated a lot of progress over the years, even in the years that I've been in it. Improvement of face recognition systems has been pretty rigorously demonstrated, and the improvement has also been rigorously demonstrated. And so for simple face recognition applications, you can say performance is very good indeed. And so in a situation like that, what a researcher needs to do, and what I think we have done successfully, is help to identify the hard problems that are left. And the good news is that there are plenty of hard problems. There are extensions of face and more difficult imaging situations in face recognition. There are other biometric modalities such as iris recognition, recognition from what you might call behavioral biometrics. There's still work to be done in voice. And so the real challenge is being agile enough to adapt to not only interesting new biometrics coming on, but the changes and the emerging maturity of biometrics that have a bit longer track record. The bulk of the research that we've done in the biometrics domain has been basic research. We have done research support as well. That's where I would put the work in database collection. We're supporting the research community. We collect data not only for our own use, but deliberately and by design to be distributed to research groups who can demonstrate a need and then who can agree to protect the data, which is very important. So in terms of commercial applications, some of our work has been licensed to vendors. I wouldn't say we have we haven't done as much of that as some other biometrics research groups have. There are always possibilities. We get contacted by vendors and other research groups about sharing and disseminating our techniques, and on occasion we do that when it seems like the right thing to do. Certainly any researcher working in biometrics has to be sensitive to the security issues, the privacy issues, and we have been extremely careful, both in being selective about what we decide to work on, as well as being very protective of the subjects from whom we collect data for researchers. So on one hand, it's a regulatory or compliance issue. You have to make sure that you're following university policy, which is driven by federal law in terms of collecting data. But in addition, we need to be sensitive to what students will tolerate, what university staff will tolerate, independent or irrespective of the federal legal landscape. So I'd say we're very sensitive to that. There are projects that we just won't do because the collection of data is potentially problematic.
What Dr. Flynn has done is come up with techniques that make biometric identification practical. And he's furthered research by creating a database of faces and other attributes you can use to fine-tune your biometric identification algorithms, further advancing the field with these contributions.
When I was a graduate student, and generally when a person is a graduate student, often the focus is on your own personal work. In graduate school, we faculty tend to train virtuosos. Sometimes when we're fortunate in terms of funding or a technical theme, we can train ensembles, groups of people to work together. But at the end of the day in graduate school, it's very important to have a piece of work that was your work, that is the basis for your degree and that is documented in your dissertation. So in some sense, I was primed coming out of graduate school to do more of that, to be an individual researcher, doing more of my individual research with a few students and you know, making the contributions that I knew I could make and that I knew I could help the students make. So what surprised me as I moved through my career, having had some opportunities to assemble larger groups of people and to work with multiple highly trained people out in the professions and in the government, was that there's a wonderful multiplying effect of having a group with shared technical interest address interesting problems and come together as a group. And in my career, I've realized that that's the real best output. It's not solely about publishing good work. It is not solely about licensing technology. One of my favorite outcomes of research activity and working with students is seeing them grow professionally and personally and in relationship to one another. So when I think about the next set of activities I might be involved in, or the next several years in my own career, on the technical side, scaling is a big challenge for biometrics, particularly for research that starts in academia. In a sense, the field is afflicted more than most by a relatively large separation between the research lab and the commercial domain and the deployments of biometrics. And there's a lot of reasons for that, but the net effect is that we in academia find it to be a challenge to work with data at a scale that modern applications demand. And so how do you solve that? You work with a group that works regularly with data on that scale. You try to collect data yourself that results in the scale that you wish to work at. Or you form other alliances, you know, maybe with industry, having the ability to work as part of a consortium of universities on a project.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Dr. Patrick J. Flynn.
When I think about a motivating principle for my work or a philosophy that I operate on, it's work with good people. One of my friends from an earlier faculty position said it very well in that research is a wonderful intellectual exercise, and making progress in research can be very thrilling. And I think about the potential impact, certainly the people that I've had a role in helping move into maturity as researchers, as computer scientists and engineers. It's the people that matter. I was very gratified to see so many pictures of undergraduates and graduate students in the images that were shown on the screen, because they're what makes the work possible, and they're also what makes the job enjoyable. Thank you very much. Certainly the IEEE Computer Society has been one of my homes in the IEEE, my original home, definitely. I've done editorial board service to PAMI. I've participated in the PAMI Technical Committee. I've been on the conference organizing and review committees for many of my field's journals and conferences. And it is really wonderful to see people feel that I deserve to be honored for my work. So it was very surprising, and I'm extremely thankful.